So in the last video where we looked at the descriptions of deacon as tinker, tailor, soldier, spy, we dealt with those first two, tinker and tailor. And now I want to just unpack the soldier spy descriptions of being a deacon. You know, we are all soldiers of Christ. Paul writes to Timothy about soldiers not being concerned with civilian affairs, but being those who give themselves to the commands of authorities and to give ourselves. And we are in a battle. Whether you are aware of it or not, we are in a battle. We are fighting. And we are behind enemy lines. In many ways, we are outnumbered. The good news is we're on the winning side. But we are in a fight. We are in a war. And we need men and women of courage who are willing to fight. And as deacons, you are the non-commissioned officers in this army. The courage of the people will be largely dependent on you. One of the roles of a deacon is to encourage, which literally means to put courage into others, to motivate, to encourage, to rebuke, correct, to get in line. I love reading historical military stuff, novels and histories and biographies. And in the Napoleonic Wars, it was so interesting to me that the guys would march in columns, shoulder to shoulder, and the enemy would fire a cannonball. And basically what would happen is if a cannonball hit, it would just hit one person, go right through him, and then take out a whole rank of people. Boom. And so there was a gap. And what the sergeants would be doing, and the non-commissioned officers, they would be, close up the gaps, and they would be pushing people back so that the formation and the people would keep moving forward. And keep moving forward under enemy fire, cannon fire, musket fire. Whether that column would keep moving forward and gain the victory was largely down to how they were encouraged, disciplined, cajoled, and threatened by the non-commissioned officers. The general was at the back telling people where to go, but it was those guys on the ground with the soldiers who determined the success of the campaign. And that's why deacons are so important. You are our soldiers. You are there making sure that if we need to take a hill, the hill is taken. We cannot do it without you. And we need you to do that with enthusiasm, with courage, with resilience, with devotion. We need you fighting alongside us, and we need you as deacons to be part of the chain of command. And we've covered this previously in terms of command and authority, but to really understand what your role is and what hill needs to be taken and in what way. And we can't do it without you. And so as deacons, we need good soldiers. We need those who understand that you're working under the authority of our commander-in-chief, but also the delegated authority of others. And we need an army that marches in rank, that everybody knows his job and everybody fulfills it. And the only way we're going to have a church, a community of believers where every single individual is playing their part, is when the deacons are doing their job. One of the things that I've shared within our community leaders training videos is that what we preach can be effective, but it's only truly effective when the content is made concrete in community, when what we preach is made real in the lives of every believer. And we as elders are not capable, no matter how gifted, how pastoral, how anointed we are not sufficient, because it's the way God designed us all. We are not sufficient to make sure that every soldier in the army knows his part and is capable of playing his part. We will not have a priesthood of all believers without our deacons taking their rightful role and playing it effectively. So we need you to be good soldiers. And then finally, we need spies. Now, spies has got a kind of negative connotation to it. And by spy, I don't mean like you're listening on what people are saying and report it back to us and kind of inform on people. By spies, I'm talking about two things. One is this. When Moses sent 12 spies into the promised land, In one sense, he wasn't sending them to find out what was there. He knew what was there because God had told him. I believe that at least part of his purpose in sending the 12 spies was for them to go see with their own eyes how amazing the land was, how big the fruit was, and then to come back and report to the people and tell them how incredible it was. Unfortunately, 10 of the spies focused on the giants. 2 of the spies focused on the land. And we need you as deacons to be the good spies, the Joshuas and Calebs, who come back and report, the land is good, we can take it. We need men who will fill the people full of faith by believing the report of the Lord rather than a negative report. As deacons, we need men of faith, men and women of faith who will say to people, we can do this. You know, it's interesting. You know, Andrew can throw things out in a preach, and he doesn't just throw them out randomly because he's in a strange mood. He's trying to convey something of a vision and a conviction that the Lord has given him and us as an eldership team. So, for example, a while back, he said he believed that God had spoken to him and given him a desire of a church of 24,000. In a sense, that's like, okay, there's a promised land, God. There's a destination that seems impossible for us to achieve right now. I think when he first preached that, we were a church of maybe like 300. And it just seemed so impossible. And it would have been so tempting and so easy for the leaders to go, well, you know what Andrew's like. He does exaggerate. Or we can say, you know what? We believe with Andrew that is the desire, that is the vision, that is the purpose of the Lord. And you can either spread a good report or you can spread a bad report. And we need spies who spread a good report that help to disseminate the vision into the heart of every single person. And that doesn't come through preaching from a platform. That comes through talking over supper. That comes through praying together. That comes from doing coffee together. That comes through doing life together. And when you hear somebody go, I think that, to speak faith into people and encourage people and correct people and bring people into truth. The other aspect of spy is this. And again, it's not informing, but we need to know what's going on in the ground. And as much as elders try and meet with people, there's this strange phenomenon that even though I don't think our heart or our posture is to carry ourselves as something different from everybody else. It's amazing how people act differently when elders are around. I remember when I was ordained as an elder, people I was good friends with suddenly started being different around me. Oh, he's an elder now. No, I was exactly the same person. I just had a different job description in the life of the church. But people do act differently to elders. People know how to play the church game. People are afraid of even when they're right, sometimes they're afraid of addressing things with elders because they somehow think elders are up there. And they're more willing to speak to deacons than they are to elders. And you can be a channel of communication, not just from the elders to the people, but the people to the elders. You can start picking up if there is division, discontent, if people are thinking of leaving. You can pick that up often even before we can. And again, you're capable of getting involved in those situations. And again, it's not about informing, but by communicating to us, it enables us to lead the people better. So you need to be good spies. And so that's just 4 elements. I've unpacked them very briefly and very quickly. I could speak twice as long, but these videos are designed to be short so that we can then bounce off these videos into more integrated discussion and really wrestle through some of these concepts. But I want to leave you with this. If you want to really pin me down and say, what does a deacon do? I'm going to tell you, I can't give you an exact job description, but I can say be a tinker, a tailor, a soldier, and a spy.